Season's here. Worked hard for 9 months now. Like we've said many times, we've had an incredible off season from January leading up to spring ball. Strength and conditioning was incredible. Our kids worked as hard as any kids I've been around. Had a really productive spring ball. Got after it, competed at a very high level. Picked back up in the summer with strength and conditioning and kids doing extra football on their own and did an amazing job all summer long. So we've had a very competitive fall camp. We still got a ways to go in a number of areas, like every team going into week one. But really excited about the team we have, the kids in this program, how hard they work, how committed they are to being the best they can for Miami football, how they prepare each day. You know, we had 60 kids in treatment. It's their day off today, and just our kids will take care of their body and do the extra things and try to be professional with everything they do. So looking forward to Miami. Obviously, different trip for us. Like I said, we've played a lot of top-end schools during my time here. We've never traveled like this. Like, we haven't gone across the country to play a top-end school. So it's been pretty much Big Ten and Notre Dame, people in our backyard, which we're more familiar with, obviously, than going down to Miami, Florida, and playing down there. And obviously one of the storied programs in the history of football. When you think of the U, and these kids, a lot of these kids grow up, thinking, hey, we're going to play the U someday. Pretty cool, unique opportunity that these kids get. I know we're super excited. I know we have a ton of respect for, obviously, that program and the talent level, and it's a different animal. When you're talking Miami, Florida, and our kids understand that and they respect that, but they're also really excited about this opportunity. You don't get this opportunity very often in life, and we're planning on going there, taking advantage of it, and going competing our tails off.
All right, questions?
Lance Guidry, who was a coach for Miami University during the 2010 season when they went to the bowl game, there's a thing on YouTube of him firing up the team before the game and all that. He's now coaching defensively down there at the U, and I have to believe he's probably going to tell them that the Red Hawks are no joke, that they're going to come to play. How are you going to prepare for somebody if they've got like a new defense? It's the first game of the year. You haven't seen anything. Are you expecting kind of some of the same things from the past, or nobody knows?
Yeah, so obviously they got two new coordinators. You can look at the personnel. You can watch last year's tape of personnel. So you're watching old Miami stuff to get an idea of their players and their strengths and weaknesses. But that doesn't help you structure at all, because they're not going to run what they ran last year. So then you got coordinators from other schools. So you try to go off of what you know, and what you know is what they did at the other schools they've been at. Does that mean they're going to do exactly that at Miami? You don't know that. And then there's always first game. Even if you have old coordinators, there's always the doubt in the first game that they made some off-season changes. So definitely unsettling as far as game planning. It'll be a game that, you got to game plan off what these coordinators have done in the past. When I talked about Coach Guidry, you look at Marshall's defense, and they were a really, really salty unit. That's how he got the Miami, Florida job. A lot of times in our profession, it's somewhat what you know, somewhat who you know, and a lot of times, like, how did that guy get that job? Well, then you find the connection to the head coach, like, okay, it makes sense how he got that job. In this case, if you watch Marshall's defense, like I told our staff, like, Coach Guidry got to Miami, Florida. I don't know if he knew anybody down there or not, but he got there based on how Marshall played defense. Like, he deserved to get that pay raise, because I'm sure if Miami would love the kids to play like Marshall's kids played a year ago, and they played their tails off, and they're really sound. They fly around. So, lot of preparation, but a lot of, hey, we're also going to have to kind of wing it if they don't run exactly what they did at their previous schools. And you got different head coaches, and so even though it's the same, coordinator at Houston or Marshall or whatever, and it's like, but different head coach, they may like to do some things, but the last head coach didn't really like that, so maybe they didn't do it as much, but now maybe this head coach likes to. So Miami coach likes to pressure more than the Marshall coach, so maybe you see more pressures. Like, because the head coach is going to have a say in what goes on. You don't know how much. So, yeah, we'll get prepared, but we got to be kind of prepared for anything in the opener.
With your team, is there like one area or one unit that improved dramatically from the beginning of fall practice to now? And conversely, is there an area that you're still concerned about?
Yes, the second part is easy. I'm concerned about all the areas, like always. It's week one and just getting settled in and playing the game the right way. And obviously on the road, a big opponent. There's a lot of reasons not to focus on just doing your job. I think playing at Kentucky will help us a year ago because we played really, really hard and we did a lot of good things, but we also did some really goofy stuff on tape where you just tell kids at times where they were at Kentucky and we were going to go try to storm the hill, and at times there wasn't a lot of method to our madness at Kentucky. We played really hard and did, when we did, we got a lot of stuff done, but we felt like after watching tape we could have got more done. So I think they understand, even though you're playing this type of opponent, you still just got to play your game and do your job and focus on and not get caught up in where you're at and how cool this is. And, yeah, we've had a lot of improvements during camp. I don't know that one unit sticks out for having drastic improvements. I think our kids have been very professional, like I've said, and very businesslike, and they just keep kind of churning away. And the biggest thing we talk about is like great teams aren't great in August. Great teams aren't great week one. I think we put ourselves in position to be, I was like, well, how are you going to be this year? I'm like, I don't really know. I've been doing this a long time. Like, it's too early to tell. We have the ability to be good. We're not going to be bad. We're going to, are we going to be great? Are we going to be good? Are we going to be okay? And we have the ability, you just got to keep getting better. The good teams keep getting week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. And again, if our team keeps growing, we're going to be a pretty good football team come back play. So, but some teams don't. Some teams, distractions get in the ways, and wins get in the way, and losses get in the way, and a lot of other things get in the way between here and in the middle of the season. So we just got to keep plugging away and stay together and keep competing together and keep believing in each other. If we do that, we'll end up being fine.
All of the unknowns that we talked about with the coordinators and stuff make it difficult enough. But just to go in and prepare for week one against anybody, what's your level of comfortability with not physical aspects, but mentally being for these guys to be able to concentrate and focus on, okay, it's the Hurricanes and we're ready to go on Friday night?
Yeah, I'm excited. Our kids are smart enough, they're self-aware enough, they know what they have to do. It's like you hit the nail on the head with it. Just, you're going down to Miami and we haven't had that experience, and it's week one and it's Friday night, and it's going to be really cool, and it's going to be really exciting, and our kids will be really excited, So how do you take that extra energy and keep you focused? Like, can you have really high energy and really high focus? Sometimes it's, I'm really focused, but I'm not really that enthused, or I'm really jacked up and I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just, so you got to use that energy, but you got to have focus, and you can't try, because we're going to have a lot of guys in that opening kickoff trying to win the game for us. It's just, and that's what you want. Like, that's not a bad thing that we're going to be, but we still got to stay in our lane, as we found out last year against Kentucky, right? We just can't run down there like maniacs and just all go to the ball, and then the guy makes one cut, and all of a sudden, really fast guys out the gate. So, yeah, it'll be a great challenge for our kids. We've been talking about it a lot. I think they understand it, but now going to do it on Friday night at 7 o'clock is a different deal.
You think that from a game planning standpoint, we've already talked about uncertainty with week one and coordinators and such. Do you think that's compounded at all by, this Miami team probably being the most talented team you're going to play all season?
Yeah, no, that's the bigger issue is right there. The structure, there's always structure issues, but they're not going to line up in something that we have never seen before. It's going to be 3 down or 4 down, and they're going to run their version of quarters coverage or their robber coverage, or they're going to run their pressures. They might have some new wrinkles that we probably aren't quite prepared for, but it'll be stuff we've seen before. The biggest challenge will be the roster. Like I said, none of Miami's coaches know one player on my roster. I'm talking about head coach, assistant coaches, recruiting guys. They haven't crossed paths because their pool that they're recruiting. All right. Conversely, there's not a player in their program that knows any of my coaches. Like, there's not, of all the hundreds and thousands of people they recruit, there's no connection there. So the biggest issue is the guy who's lined up across from you, and he's going to be big, strong, and fast, and we're going to have to match that. And again, we're fortunate we have really good players here, and we've played Power 5 teams, and we've played these teams, and again, were we physical superior to Kentucky a year ago? No, we weren't. But if you watch the game, we weren't in a situation where we couldn't compete and have success. And when we played the game the right way, we did have success. And when we didn't, it gets magnified because they're really, really talented and really strong and really fast. So when you're out of position or you don't take a good first step, that 3 technique's pretty quick, and he's on your quarterback in a hurry. So the talent level, the size, strength, and speed of the game is going to be different. But again, that's all part of what our kids are excited. They want to go up against and play that competition and see how they stack up against it.
Any thoughts about the Miami versus Miami thing, battle for bragging rights among Miamis?
Yeah, no really thoughts. Other than I think we've got the far superior university, and that's not going to change based on anything. No, I don't know. I know they're a really good academic school too, which most people just think of the U, and a lot of people don't know how high academic school Miami is. No, I don't know. It's pretty cool, Miami versus Miami, but I'm worried about trying to block their DNs. See if our receivers can get open on their DBs. They got supposedly 2 first-round safeties. They got a first-round D lineman. They got so it's like that's more of my concern.
Speaking of receivers, you've got a number of new faces in that group. How do you feel that they've progressed in order to be able to absorbing the offense and being able to run everything and give Brett as many options as possible?
Yeah, they've been really good as far as their preparation. They've been really good as far as getting here, learning our systems and learning what we're doing, and then going out there and competing and getting better at. So I feel good about that group. There's going to be, there's not a lot of experience coming in with guys that have, they're just, if you look at the returning catches of our receiver group in college football, there's not a lot outside of Miles Marshall has some catches, but I believe I believe it's a really talented group, and I think they're going to be really good. We keep saying they've never done it in a game. I'm like, yeah, but I think they're going to be okay when the game starts, And again, obviously starting off with this challenge in this secondary, like I said, there's 4 DBs. They're saying 2 first-round draft choices on the back end, and so it'll be an awesome right away to figure out, okay, hey, this is my first shot at college football. It's a pretty good dose of reality right here.
Injury-wise, how are you guys coming out of
Yeah, we're really
practice?
pretty good right now. We have some guys that have been out for a while that are fighting to get back, that injuries from last fall that were major injuries. But all our stuff in camp or spring ball has been pretty much where we should be pretty close to real healthy going into the opener.
How do you think this defense stacks up to last year's unit and against Miami, Florida's offense?
Yeah, obviously it would be a really tough task going against Miami, and their quarterback's a highly, he's me a guy. He's got he looks like Will Levis to me, as far as big, strong, can throw it really easily, really far, really everything. His ability to throw the ball is pretty amazing. We've got a ton of experience back on that side of the ball, so I'd like to think we're going to take another step forward. We've been really good on defense. I know we led the league in scoring defense a year ago, but we also had 8 new starters a year ago, and those kids, for the most part, all of them are back. So I think it should be a really strong unit as the year goes on. I think, they play it the right way. They'll be tough to drive the ball consistently against. We got to do what every good defense does. You don't give up big plays. If you don't give up big plays and you're good, you're gonna keep the points down. So that'll be the goal.
How are you feeling about the offensive line heading into the opener, especially with their ability to give you a diverse offense?
Yeah, I feel good. We're getting better and better up front. We've got with Vaughn coming back from his injury, and every day he just gets better and better. After missing all last year, so we got 4 guys that started last year back. We're going to probably play multiple guys. Probably play 6, 7, 8 offensive linemen in the game. I think we have some good depth. We're not like every other unit on the team, not a finished product yet, but we just keep getting better and better and better, and they're getting smarter and they're getting tougher and everything else. So we feel good that that's going to be a deep and talented group as the year goes on.